with guitar playing, I don't even necessarily have to listen to the band, but they still, for some reason, are just obvious goats and just make me a better player. So my favorite guitar player is Monkey from Korn. That's just it. Like but that's personal preference. The dude started, him and Head started. I mean, literally started a genre. So he's why I'm literally here. So he's number one for me. There's two guys that I don't exactly listen to in my spare time, but just have made me a better guitar player. That made me more me. Because you could practice all day and not be you. I mean, there is that, but I practice these guys' songs and they make me a better guitar player. So I have to put them on my top four. And that's Johnny Ramone from the Ramones. He is truly like the GOAT as far as downpicking. I highly recommend his book, Commando. Their band, literally, I went back to it this morning and actually, their band started without anyone knowing anything. Literally, like no one knew their instruments, and that's how they started. And then whoever played that instrument better, that's who did what. Which is, if you think about that, it's pretty insane. I think U2 actually has a very similar story, but Johnny Ramone, I play those songs, and I have become more me. It's just a lot of downpicking. It's a lot of just himself in those songs, and he has to be in the top four. He has to be. I don't exactly listen to Ramones a lot in my spare time, but I heard James Hetfield talk about him. So out of curiosity, I just went to the Ramones, and then I found out he had a book, and I started doing research on him, and a very very special guy. So he's up there. So where we at? We're at Monkey, John Ramone, another dude, which he might be the goat. He might be the goat. Malcolm Young. I don't listen to AC/DC in my spare time, but reading his story. He has an autobiography about himself, and really interesting guy. The vision and his playing and his attitude, and he was born in Glasgow, and I didn't know that until I fucking did extensive research on the guy, and because you think of AC/DC, you just associate that band with Australia, and after reading his story, and obviously I'm not saying Suicide on the same league as AC/DC, I'm not saying that, but obviously if you know anything about my band, you could put two and two together why we have a similar story. So when you have a story like that, there's only few bands you could really go to for inspiration, and so they lost their singer, so it's kind of one of those like, what did he do? And what's crazy about guys like Malcolm, there's not much out about him, like interviews and stuff. Like, damn, he doesn't really say much, and it's like shit. Like, it's funny, like, and that's always kind of not pissed me off. It used to actually make me really frustrated, because, which in the end it's all my fault. In the end, I do take responsibility for this, but man, like, we worked so hard and we made it, and we're on tour with these bands, and like, the people I want to hang out with don't hang out. That's why I don't want to hang out. The people I want to hang out with in bands, like, holy shit, we're on tour with them. We did it. And these guys, they just don't hang out. And I'm not saying I'm like them, or I should be in the same sentence with them, but I do see similarities between myself and some of these guys. Like I see like an introvert and like the rhythm player aspect, and you hear like they're also like the business person. I'm like, oh wow, this is like a lot of similarities. But the people I should hang out with, they just don't hang out, which has always been like a really frustrating part about my career. But anyway, yeah. Malcolm Young, he is a GOAT. I believe he passed away from dementia, which is really unfortunate. I'm also very young, too. Very, very young. 2017. He passed away November 2017. Yeah, he's a GOAT. Again, I don't listen to AC/DC in my spare time very rarely, but when I play those songs and I learned those songs, that's what's so weird about music. I don't know what it is. Playing those songs makes me more me. And that's like that's way more crucial than any guitar skill. I don't care about any guitar skill. Like there's something in those songs that just does that. And on my list here, his name popped in my head. So far we have Monkey, Johnny Ramone, Malcolm Young. I have a feeling you all think you know what I'm going to say. You all think I know. I think you all think you know, but I'm not going to say them. It's too obvious. For me personally, and I don't think a lot of people talk about him enough. And oddly enough, I just read this today in my notes. But and it's so Johnny Ramone has a top 5 list. Number 5 for him and number 4 for me, because of how important he is Dick Dale. Dick Dale is so he is so important, man. He is so important for metal, man. It sucks I never got to see him. It sucks. Man, I didn't get my head out of my ass till I was a fucking older guy, dude. It fucking sucks. All these times AC/DC was in town and Dick Dale was in town, I just never went out and saw him because I didn't do research until my mid-30s, like a fucking idiot. But yeah, dude, his tremolo picking it's him. It's him, and I play those songs and I put it into studio sounds. It makes me me. It's nuts, and not only what he did for guitar, but what he did for amps and pedals, dude. Like the stories of him and Leo Fender hanging out in like the 60s are legendary. It might even hit the 50s. It's been. I was going through my Leo Fender research and I was like, we were doing Remember You Must Die. And I was in my like Leo Fender. I was just reading all these books about him. So that was, wow, holy shit, well over 2 years ago at this point. So it's not really off the top of my head, but the stories of Leo Fender and Dick Dale hanging out are just legendary, dude. There will be no amps. Like what we know is like a half stack, and these Marshall half stack, all this would not exist without Leo Fender and Dick Dale. And if you want to question me, you should really do some research of what Dick Dale did for the amps, because he had some amps, a little amp, you can imagine like the 50s, and basically Dick Dale was telling Leo, hey dude, I'm blowing out all these amps. I'm blowing them out. So it took Leo Fender going from Fullerton, and he would go to Santa Monica at these dance halls to see Dick Dale play. You probably find a video of Dick Dale playing these dance halls in the 50s. And he said, Leo said he was standing in the back in the middle. He said, oh, I get it. And then I believe Leo. Again, these are legendary stories, like how we live in a big world in a very small circle. But yeah, like I said, there's stories of Leo talking with, as we all know, JBL. I don't have his name off the top of my head or in front of me, but and that's why he put more than one speaker in a cabinet. And that's also why he made the Fender Showman. That's why he called it like the Showman, because he saw Dick Dale, realized he was a showman. So, Jay's pulling up some stuff right now. You could probably check it out. Oh, yeah, a name I can't pronounce: James Bullock Lansing. I might have butchered that, but JBL, like those stores are legendary, man. Yeah, so Leo named the Fender Showman after Dick Dale, seeing what he was doing, blowing amps out. I think Dick Dale was also responsible for the reverb pedal, which now we know. Now we have all these pedals. Now we have all these pedals. The pedal game is just crazy. I don't think we even have guitar pedals if it wasn't for Leo Fender and Dick Dale. Yeah, those are that's my Mount Rushmore of top 4. And obviously, there's a lot more, but just off the top of my head, of what really, rest in peace, Leo Fender, man, special dude, special guy, man. Literally the greatest guitar company of all time. Literally, I have one right by me, and he didn't even play guitar, which is so weird. He just knew, man. So yeah, that's my top 4. Pretty much. Thank you for your question, man. There's so many more, I know, but that's my personal favorite. And as far as Spirit Time, I listen to Dick Dale the most out of like the Ramones. No, never mind. I listen to Korn a lot, obviously, but out of John Ramone, Malcolm Young, Dick Dale, I'll probably listen to second the most. That tremolo picking, there's something about his tremolo picking though. If you learn those songs, it makes you play a certain way. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Anyway, if you're only listening, it's just we're gonna close off with this. The way like when Dick Dale play, the people will do like this bounce. Remember the first time I went on YouTube and typed in Dick Dale live, the way people danced to him was just crazy. It's kind of like they're hopping around, kind of like a wave, kind of like the ocean.